Hi, I'm Matt Fanslow, and I got some requests to review or react to a YouTube channel full of real mechanic react videos, and specifically one that they react to some Google questions. Just a little bit about me quickly. I'm an ASE certified Master Automotive Technician. I am also a advanced engine performance specialist. I work for an independent all makes, all models repair shop where I specialize in more of the diagnostic end of things, electrical, electronics, some of the more, I guess, techie stuff. I think an apt title might be a technical specialist. And I also host a podcast called Diagnosing the Aftermarket A to Z. And I'd like to thank our sponsor, Napa Autotech Training. For 98 years, the Napa name has meant quality parts and service. It also reflects top quality training programs to help you build a more successful vehicle repair business. No doubt, the technician shortage is impacting everyone, but you're not facing this battle alone. Napa has the solution by making Napa Autotech training available near you. Napa Autotech provides automotive aftermarket technicians career development opportunities through structured, disciplined, measured, and high-quality technical instruction, no matter the technician or service advisor's skill level. This instruction enhances understanding of vehicle systems, increases first-time repair capability, and overall customer satisfaction. This instruction enhances understanding of vehicle systems, increases first-time repair capability, and overall customer satisfaction. It also prepares technicians to become ASE certified. It's a fact technicians who receive training to improve their knowledge and skills have a higher sense of job satisfaction. This reduces technician turnover and increases productivity, directly improving a shop's profitability. It is vital to the success of a shop's business that today's technicians are equipped to diagnose and repair today's complex vehicles. With our ever-changing technology, the technician's knowledge and skills need to be updated and refreshed on a regular basis. As you labor over the decision of whether to send your techs to get their skills sharpened, keep in mind, Napa Autotech training is an investment, not an expense, and it's available to all. Much of Napa Autotech's training is offered in more than one format to accommodate varieties of learning styles and training preferences so each person can maximize their learning. Whether you're more of a hands-on person or enjoy learning at your own pace, Napa Autotech is here to provide you with the training you need in the format that works best for you. To learn more about what Napa Autotech offers, contact napaautotech.com. So without further ado, let's rev up this video and see what's going on, what all the fuss was about.
We're here today to answer Google's top questions when it comes to mechanics and see if autocomplete really knows the best questions to ask.
First question, why does my car
battery keep dying? That's a good one. Let's see, parasitic draw possibly?
You leave a light on?
Yeah, that's a big one.
You connected your amplifier wrong?
There's multiple reasons why your battery could keep dying. Take it to your shop.
Take it to the shop, let us work on it.
Take it to Miranda's.
Yeah, bring.
It's not horrible advice. They're not wrong. There's many things that could cause that. And parasitic drain is a big one. Bringing up the amplifier part, you must see a fair bit of that type of stuff where somebody's installed stereo equipment and maybe did something wrong accidentally. Do it yourself or possibly. And again, not wrong. The issue is the problems causing parasitic drains nowadays with modern vehicles has gotten way more complex than it used to be. We are now dealing with, and have been for quite a few years, networks. The modules on the car, computers, if you will, are linked together. And you can run into issues where there is a switch, sensor, or module itself that keeps this network awake. We would call it a data bus awake. And that can get dicey to find. But they're right. The shops should be equipped and ready to help you, or certain shops. So I agree.
Bring it over.
Am I going to get there if my battery's dead?
Tow it over here.
Tow it over.
Tow it over here. Be like, hey, you know what? Do you guys supply a tow truck? I'll be like, no, but we'll figure that out right now. We got some rope and we'll drag that over. We got you.
All right, let's see the next one.
What?
It's an interesting way to talk to a client. I get, he's looking for some lighthearted comedy, and I get it. But yeah, I don't know if we would talk to our clients that way. It wouldn't end too well. It would get towed, probably not to us.
Does my car vibrate when I stop? It could be motor mounts.
Yeah,
It could be you haven't done a tune-up, that you don't know how to drive, and you hit everything, so your car's breaking down.
I think even worn out suspension can sometimes also cause a vibration.
Sometimes. But just bring it to the shop.
We'll figure it out.
Let's go to the next question.
It's a kind of a vague question, right? Vibrate when you stop. What does that mean? Is it I'm already stopped, I'm sitting at the stop sign and the car's vibrating? The motor mounts, transmission mounts would be a good thing to check because they are what isolates something that vibrates normally from the passenger compartment, if you will, the rest of the vehicle. We don't want that. And when the motor mounts are made out of rubber, that rubber breaks down. A lot of times you just have literally metal to metal transferring that vibration directly into the passenger compartment where you can feel it. Also, though, is, they didn't phrase it this way coming to a stop, but a lot of us speak this way. This could be brake related. I'm coming up to a stop sign, I'm hitting the brakes, and I have issues with rotors or drums. That would cause a vibration. They're talking about that you may need a tune-up, and that's kind of older terminology. With the ignition system, primarily with spark plugs. Back in the day, you would have a distributor and a coil, or a distributor cap and rotor, and then a coil. Now most cars have one coil per cylinder, or maybe one coil will feed two cylinders in certain cases. A more modern vehicle, if that's the case, where the engine's causing that, for the most part, you're going to get a check engine light on. There's going to be some clues as to what's causing that. So again, bringing it to a professional, that's never bad advice. It really isn't.
Why does my car shake when I drive?
You know what? It depends on the music that you're bumping.
That's a good one.
See,
how
if you got
crazy is your bass?
Yeah. If you got some sazon, some good rhythm going on there, is it the car or is it you? Because sometimes your ass is just shaking because you're like, that's a good ass.
Now we know whenever you guys see Sandro on the street and he's over here bobbing his head, his ass is shaking in that seat also.
First. It could be balance on the wheels.
That's a big one.
Bad wheel, you hit something, you got an accident,
I'd say
you repaired everything.
even motor mounts.
Motor mounts too. Motor
Right.
mounts can make the dents. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You got the homie on the side shaking his leg like this.
He's your big homie.
And you're like this, like, can you please stop, dude?
If you got misfires and you don't know that it's misfiring.
Correct.
All right, why?
Yeah, so hamming it up a little bit, that's cool and all. The motor mounts, again, maybe the engine isn't so much resting down onto the frame, if you will, or whatever subframe, engine cradle, depending on the, which kind of a vehicle we're talking about here. They can also fail in such a way that rubber, again, it's broken down. You go to accelerate, and now the engine's twisting a little bit and wants to twist, and the motor mounts kind of prevent that. Well, if the rubber's broken down, you're now getting that metal to metal from the twist. And then, of course, the wheel balance, of course, that would be somewhat similar to a bent rim, like if you hit something, bad wheel. There's quite a few things that could cause this. Right? This falls under something we would call NVH, or noise vibration harshness. And we have equipment to try to narrow that down. So it actually has a sensor that sits on something solid in the vehicle, and kind of either a piezo device or really an accelerometer that measures that frequency of that vibration. And if we know the frequency, and we know how fast we're going, we know the wheel sizes, we know the gear ratios, or we know the engine configuration and the RPM, we can really start narrowing down what is the root cause, or what is the source of this vibration. And it could be like what they listed off. It could be drive shafts or CV shafts, again, depending on what kind of a vehicle we're talking about here. The list goes on and on. It could be exhaust. If you have an exhaust that's one of the mounts is broken, or the exhaust is shifted somehow, accidentally run over something, backed into something, and now the exhaust is up against the vehicle, metal to metal, again, that vibrates. So it's a long list. And again, your shop, your trusted mechanic should help find the root cause, show you why, and give you an estimate to take care of it. Again, the misfire part, maybe where they're from, they see a fair number of vehicles that are what we would call pre-OBD2, and that is kind of a level of onboard diagnostics where things started to get mandated where they have to start picking up engine misfires for emissions purposes and catalyst protection, you would be alerted if you have an engine misfire, something that's pre-OBD2. They really don't do that. Some of you that have seen a lot of vehicles will be able to pick out a couple of cars that did, but for the most part, not a thing. And you may not know that the engine is misfiring. It's just something we don't see very common because the average age of the vehicle now is such that it falls well into that, we'll say, OBD2 realm. And there's clues. The check engine light will be on, or in a lot of cases with a misfire, flashing. So
Why does my car squeak when I turn? Ooh, big number one, I'd say check your ball joints.
A pulley.
You got glazing on your rotors.
Don't glaze on your rotors. Let's go to
They
the
don't
next.
like it.
Let's go to another one. Why does my car shake?
okay, so I don't know if you picked up on that, but there's, again, the question's kind of vague. When my car turns, what does that mean? So when we're talking about ball joints, she's talking about when you're turning the steering wheel. And as you turn the steering wheel, for the wheels to be able to turn, the way they're connected to the car, we'll say, is through some ball joints. And then obviously, depending on the setup, struts or strut mounts, if you want to be really technical. When you're turning the steering wheel and you get that squeak or squawk, a lot of times that could be the ball joints are failing or dry. Same with that, the upper mount for the strut mounts, they could be going dry, but that's not necessarily the vehicle moving. Then you heard about glazed rotors. That's the brake rotors. And it could be a glazing issue. It could also be the brake pad is wore down to the wear indicators, and then it just tweaks things just enough that when you're moving with the steering wheel turned, you get this squeaking sound or a squawking sound. Again, there's more than one reason things can happen. A trusted mechanic repair shop can hopefully show you or demonstrate to you what that cause is, either in person or via photos and videos to send you. And then, of course, the associated estimate to repair it.
When I accelerate. Well, I mean, we covered that one.
Yeah.
It could be the mounts.
Why does my car shake when I turn on?
So yeah, there's the stuff that translates. Shakes when you accelerate, shakes when your car's driving. Not uncommon or not so different from one another. So I tend to agree. Shake when you accelerate. Again, we could have that engine twisting, transmission twisting. Mounts are bad. It could be a misfire. So I would agree with that.
The AC.
That could be a lot of things. It could be bad alternator sometimes, tune up as well. It could be your mounts also. This is a lot of motor mounts right here.
Yeah.
I guess I would just throw in there motor mounts and transmission mounts are a lot of times missed. Sources of issues, caught late. The best way to often test them is one quite dynamically with a little bit light power braking with somebody watching, or unloading them, putting something under the engine transmission, lightly lifting up, unloading them, and that will chase that down. Shaking with the AC on, it's adding a load to the engine. The engine has to work harder. That could, again, be caused by more than a few things. And how is it shaking? Again, a misfire, rough running, that the engine's lugging down more than it should. It could be something where the idle control, something pertaining to it. Again, that could depend on the engine itself, whether we have like an idle air control type motor. Throttle body is dirty, where the throttle plates, where it wants to be, has to be open a little bit more, but maybe it hasn't quite learned that position yet. So there's more than a few things. There's nothing really wrong with what they said there.
You smell bad.
Your condenser, I'd say.
Yeah, you haven't changed the filters.
That too.
You probably farted like so nasty. It's your ass.
Only with the AC on that you did that, but they made a slight mistake. It's a common mistake. They said condenser. It probably isn't the condenser, especially if we're talking about inside of the vehicle. We have two real heat exchangers in the AC system on a vehicle. You have the condenser, which is usually mounted in front of the vehicle, often like just behind the grill, ahead of the radiator. And then you have something in the car called the evaporator. And they do two totally different things. The condenser takes this hot gas, compressed gas from the compressor, and condenses it into a relatively hot or very warm liquid so that it can work its way to the evaporator, which does, you guessed it, takes that liquid and evaporates it to a low pressure, cooler gas or cold. And that's what, if we would say would absorb the heat from inside the vehicle. One of the consequences of that cold surface is we're blowing warm air across it, often warm and humid, and that results in condensation. And if that's not dried out or allowed to dry, that can lead to like mildew or mold. And that's often the smell. And you get that in your house. That can happen in your house, happens in the cars, of course. And the fix oftentimes is literally to clean it with a disinfectant and then find out if there is a strategy on the vehicle that's not working. Not every vehicle has it, but many do, where they kind of call it like an afterblow, where the fan stays on for a while after you shut the car off. And the job of that is to clean that evaporator or dry the evaporator, blow it, dry it. The filters, he's not wrong. You know what? They collect pollen, other dust, dirt, debris. And over time, if they're left there, again, through all sorts of elements, depending on where you live, they also start to mildew or mold. And that can cause a very unpleasant smell, just like what the evaporator does. I've seen the mildew stuff happen more in like the window air conditioners for your house rather than the actual central air, but it still happens. And you kind of get that mildewy smell. They come out and they're not outside of the house cleaning the unit outside. It's wherever the evaporator is in the house. That's where they're going after that. Outside of the house, that would be the condenser with the compressor next to it, just like our vehicles.
On and you're driving down the highway, something stanky is going on outside, now it's inside.
Inside, yeah. Clean your vents once in a while. They sell those sprays, you can spray it in there.
They do.
It smells pretty good. That's why when you get in a Mercedes, they have like little vents, like air fresheners that travels all around. It smells always good in there. Even if you're a smoker and you just laid a nasty ass fart, solid. Yes. Why does my car shake when I brake? Your brakes, your rotors are bad. You need a tune-up when you're pulling up on a stop sign. Like it's like once to turn off, it could be that. But mainly it could be your rotors. You just need to change the brakes. Take it to your shop.
They'll know what to do.
Why don't...
Yeah, we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier. He's spot on. The rotors or the drums, depending again on the vehicle configuration.
I take it to my shop. That should be one of the motherfuckers.
They have the answers, y'all. Why does my car
smell like...
Maybe a little nitpicky. They don't necessarily have the answers. Their job is to find the answers. And I don't mean that critically, but it's true. You don't call us up and we just have the answers. We need your vehicle. We need to do an inspection or an analysis of some sort. And then we come to the answer. And again, I don't mean that critically, but it could be nitpicky, but it's also the truth.
I guess.
Did you say gas or ass?
I'm looking at the ass.
You can have a busted leak.
If you have like some sort of EVAP issue.
If your fuel pump is inside under the seat and there's a seal that's busted, it'll stink. Like nasty.
Will.
Actually, Michael's mom, the showrunner, his mom had that issue that it smelled so much, so nasty. You know, you can knock out with all that gas.
Yeah.
It give you a big ass headache. She has a convertible, so more air was going in, you know? And then she would drive with the windows down, but her fuel pump was like just leaking gas like crazy. It stinked.
I'm kind of glad she brought up the EVAP system. She's talking about the evaporative emission systems. Other than maybe cold start, the exhaust isn't the dirtiest part of the vehicle anymore for emissions. A lot of times it's the actual fuel containment system, the tank. And so they want to capture any of those gases. If you have any sort of power equipment where you dump gas into it, you can see the vapors rolling out of the gas can. This happens on your car too, except we're trapping it in what they call a charcoal canister to be stored, to be pulled back into the engine and burnt. And if there's any sort of a breach of that system, it will likely vent some of that fuel vapor around the vehicle, in the vehicle. Not directly, but you can smell it if it's around the vehicle, and then your fan kicks on or you open the door and bring it in with you. And then, like you said, any kind of a fuel system leak. This is also, again, kind of back to, what year these vehicles are, because again, we're monitoring that. Newer modern vehicles, and really since 1995 and a half, 96. They're watching this stuff, and having a fuel leak without a check engine light, I'm not saying it's impossible. It's just less and less likely. Fuel leaks, usually you have spots. You know, if it's leaking in the fuel system, like a fuel liner, depending on what he's talking about for the fuel pump leak, if he's talking about kind of the hanger assembly or the top, if that's corroded really bad, that will leak a lot of fuel vapors. Or when you're filling up your fuel tank, they'll actually leak raw fuel, and the smell gets very pungent. Yeah. So yeah, not a bad answer at all.
Next one, because we figured this out.
All right, why do cars?
That sounds like me asking a question. Why do cars?
All right, well, show me why do cars do what?
I'm sorry.
Why do cars need oil? Oil provides different aspects to an engine. Not only does it provide lubrication, but it also helps with its cooling ability. It's kind of like your blood to you and your body. Well, the oil is that for the engine.
Friction. You don't want metal to metal. Straight up. Metal to metal. Guess what's going to happen? It's going to get hot, burn up, melt, seize together. That's what it is.
The blood thing's a little rough, but I think where she's going is it's really important. You know, our blood's responsible for a few different things. Oil, when it leaks, doesn't coagulate. So that'd be kind of nice if we had a little bit of that. Save on some oil leaks without putting in any kind of leak stop. You shouldn't do that. Shouldn't put leak stop in. Find the leak, fix it. She's not wrong, though. And Sandro's not wrong either with the lubrication's extremely important. It also cleans. A lot of the oils, or I shouldn't say a lot, most of the oils, specifically, I think we're talking engine oil here, but all of them have some sort of an additive package. The additive package often has a lot of detergents in it. And then also it has friction modifiers. And then in some cases, depending on the system, it'll have inhibitors. So engine oil, it's very important that we're asking the oil to keep things clean. So they got the detergents. We're asking them to also act as hydraulic fluid. So there's a lot of systems on the car, transmission, engine, brakes. That oil also acts as like the hydraulic medium that we're going to operate things like cam phasing, or on transmissions, we're going to be moving, clutch packs and lockup converters, stuff like that. They have to serve that purpose. And then also, since they're in a contained system and they may be operating with like dissimilar metals, they'll have an inhibitor package to prevent them from becoming acidic. That breaks down over time. And that's why you need fluid services, oil changes, depending on your vehicles, about transmission fluid services. That's manufacturers take a lot of time and effort to put together recommended service intervals and what to change. And they do that for a reason. And part of it is to get you out of warranty.
Oil does. Lubes you up.
Lubes you up.
Why do cars overheat?
It's typically some sort of failure with your cooling system.
Your head gasket's blown. You didn't notice there's a hole in your radiator and it's been leaking. Coolant. So it's all related to that. Or it could be that your motor's blown. So the head gasket goes heads, block, goes together. In between, there's like a tunnel of water that flows through it. If that gasket is busted, it'll travel into the actual pistons, causing corrosion and mixing with oil. It'll overheat once in a while because it'll evaporate. Water will evaporate. Oil doesn't evaporate. So then you're going to get that over temperature once in a while, or your thermostat is.
That's another big one,
yeah. It could be that too. So there's a lot of things that Google cannot answer, right? But if you take it to a shop,
they could probably have the answers.
Sometimes.
Kind of gets back to what we were talking about a little earlier, right? That they may not have the answers, but they find the answers. And engine overheating, yeah, it could be saying a cooling system issue is vague, but yeah, coolant leaks out. A lot of times we have coolant level warnings. And then another thing is, at least in where I live, we have a lot of like cottonwood trees. So they kind of have this fluff, and that likes to collect and gets sucked into, if you will, driven into radiator fins, and it blocks airflow through the radiator. And that's a very common cause, often missed. And everything else they said is very true. Sandro must see a lot of head gaskets going bad because he brought it up a couple times, couple different ways.
Why do cars need gas?
Great beginner questions, I'd say.
I'm pretty sure that Google will answer this better than me. You need gas because that's how they make the motors for combustion. And yeah, let's keep going, huh?
Why do cars burn oil? Your piston rings could be, the gap could be too large.
It could be burned out. The motor's already shot. So
it's just old.
Either you get a used motor or you resurrect that same motor or you get a new motor, whatever. The motor's shot, rings are gone. Yeah, that's about it.
They're not wrong. Of course, that could cause it. I would say more common is something I would either call the positive crankcase ventilation system, or really the multiple names for it, but we'll just call it that. They have different ways of doing it, where you get a little bit of blow-by gases past the piston rings and they get into the crankcase. And that, can go out into the atmosphere, which we don't want for emissions, but also it contaminates the engine oil and it breaks down, causes it to deteriorate faster, and we don't want that either. So what we do is kind of like what I was talking about with the EVAP system and the charcoal canister is we're going to try to draw those vapors out of the crankcase and burn them. And like I said, there's a couple different ways they do that, but on a lot of vehicles, when those systems fail, and it doesn't matter if it's an older system or some of the newer systems, what they end up doing is they pull oil through. And that is what I see far more common, causing engine oil consumption than rings or failed pistons or bad engines. When that happens, a lot of times it was, of course, oil changes weren't performed regularly. And when they needed to be done at whatever that interval may be, tentatively, we'll just say around 5,000 miles. Again, some vehicles you can push that a little further. Maybe not to the 10,000 range. I have some issues with that, and I think that can be backed up. What happens is maybe not 10,000 miles. There's reasons they want to do that. Maybe a subject for a different video. But what happens is the oil breaks down. It's not lubricating as like it should. And then we start scoring cylinders. And then that's where we start seeing this style of failure. We're basically going to be replacing the engine to fix the oil consumption issue.
Airbags.
For safety, dummies.
Safety for dummies.
Ooh, why do cars backfire?
Misfires.
Or you got a sick-ass tune. Not actually healthy or good for your engine in any way. You're actually wearing it a lot quicker than it probably was going to.
Or your coil packs are giving out, your spark plugs are giving out, your distributor's giving out, you're giving out.
Everything.
I guess I just want to toss in there, when you have backfires, you're essentially having either combustion continue into the exhaust or combustion taking place in the exhaust. And anything that could contribute to that, again, it's really something you don't see a whole lot of on more modern vehicles. It doesn't happen a whole lot. But if they're seeing older vehicles or modded vehicles, then that explains why they're talking about these sick tunes.
If it's a Fiat, bad fabrication.
You got fuel leaking.
Your catalytic converter is getting too hot because it's busted or clogged. That could be a reason. Electrical. This? Call your insurance. Don't take it to the shop because it's toasted. Why do car seats expire?
Like for babies?
Oh, babies? For baby car seats? You know what? That's a good question. You know what? Google that. Why do they expire? If a car gets in an accident, the car seat is compromised. On a race seat, obviously they have expirations because all that jiggling, whether it's with fiberglass or aluminum, it gets flimsy throughout time, right? So I don't think all car seats expire, only certain like baby car seats, bucket seats. If it has airbags on the seat, then expired, that means it's because you use expiration date, but I guess an accident? I don't know. That's a good question.
I'm wondering if Sandra's shop is very performance oriented. That would explain a lot of the answers and the angles on the answers. So that's interesting. You know, car seats, you're going to have entities involved that need to cover their butts. That's what it's all about.
Cars go to auction. You got your towed,
impounded, you didn't go pick it up, you got in an accident, you don't want it back, you're trying to sell it because you just want to make money off of it.
City cars that go out of commission.
Insurance cars get crashed and nobody wants to pick them up like that.
Oh, even the rental places, car rental places, their cars go to auction.
Yeah. Why do we charge so much?
Because our time and our skill set is valuable. Some shops potentially overcharge, but as mechanics with integrity and morals, we charge what we think is our worth. Listen, we work hard.
Those are some interesting answers. One is, I don't know what that means. How do you qualify what's charged too much? Most businesses charge what they have to be profitable and grow the business, take care of their people. And honestly, running a repair shop is not an inexpensive endeavor. Not just the space required, but all the equipment, the training, and now probably more than ever, the skill sets that are possessed by our technicians, mechanical specialists, technical specialists is such that it does demand compensation and to be treated like professionals and paid like professionals and getting professional level benefits such as medical and so many other things that many other industries have gotten for so long they take for granted. Not so much in the auto repair world. That's changed. You've heard about the skill gap. We're seeing that live and in Technicolor because it is hard. It is very, very difficult to find skilled individuals to do this at a professional level. The ones that can, they command compensation, and to pay for that, shops have to increase their rates and profitability to be able to pay that out, as well as keep up with all the new technology. It just goes on and on and on. I don't think anyone's getting overcharged, especially when they're doing what they say they're going to do, which is provide you a properly repaired vehicle at the amount that they estimate and when it's done on time or when they say it'll be done, and then they stand behind it. Then you're not being overcharged. I think it gets into a weird discussion about is going to a high-end steakhouse. Are they overcharging you for that steak versus the greasy spoon? I don't think any of us would really say that. There's levels of service, there's levels of quality. Same thing with repair shops. And if they do what they say they're going to do and they stand behind it, it's not being overcharged. It's probably saving you money over time.
Okay, why do mechanics wear gloves?
Keep our hands protected.
We like them soft.
That is
Smooth.
so crazy of you to say.
Soft and smooth. Let me see your
But my hands are still
Let me see your
rough.
nasty ass hands. See,
My hands
they're
are still
soft
rough.
because you wear gloves. I've seen your little videos where I'm putting on my gloves today because I'm gonna do an oil change.
That's how I know that you're tripping, because there's literally no video out there
I
of me
was
doing
playing.
that.
I was just playing. She's salty today, guys. Sorry.
Nah, you just out here
But
lying.
it depends on the gloves, right? Let's just say your hands are dirty. You don't want to dirty the interior of the car. You wear gloves.
Yeah.
If you're welding something, you're wearing heavy gloves. You don't want to get burned. If you're doing some mechanical, like gear oil, that stinks, bro.
Yeah.
Nasty.
Diesels too.
Diesels
Diesel
too.
oil, oh my God.
Gear oil is like so nasty. It's like it stinks. Like you're like.
And diesel like stains you, and you'll be there scrubbing, and that will not come off.
You're eating tacos and you're smelling the rest. So that's why you wear kind of gloves, okay?
I mean, honestly, we're working with harsh chemicals. Our skin, the largest organ of our body, likes to absorb things. And do we really want them absorbing harsh chemicals or carcinogenic chemicals? No. So we wear gloves.
Why do mechanics make so little?
Make your mind up. Make your mind up. Why do we make so little? Because of you guys.
I think what's happening here, I could be wrong. I don't know them. Sandra must have a repair shop where he may be the only person there. It could be. Because I think we're using the term mechanics interchangeably with a repair shop and the individual mechanical specialist, technical specialist. Because just like if you call a plumber to come over to your house that works for a plumbing company, the rate you're paying doesn't all go to the plumber, right? It goes to the business, and then they divvy up how that's going to pay their bills, pay themselves, pay the employees, stuff like that. Not unlike a repair shop. The issue with the mechanics make so little is historically, I think that was true. We were paid quite a bit less, or compensated really quite a bit less than the other skilled trades, the other skilled professions, electricians, plumbers, construction, like carpenters, welders, stuff like that. That's really changing now. It's changing because it has to. We're back to that skill set we were talking about, that individuals need to possess to really do this at a professional level. But one issue we have is there's little designation. There's really no way that we divvy up or divide the skill level of our technicians. Meaning, if you talk about electricians or plumbers, you have an apprentice, a journeyman, a master. We don't really have that in auto repair for multiple reasons, probably the subject of a different video. Then what happens is they take the incomes of everybody and they just mix them all together. Well, you could have a master, if you will, who gets paid whatever number you want to say it, a very high number, just make one up, is offset quite a bit by an entry level tech or a apprentice level. And you mix that all up, it drives that wage that you would find online, at the Department of Labor, drives that down. And it makes it quite difficult for us to recruit people into doing this, because anybody that's, remotely intelligent before they dive into a career is going to go look at how they're going to be treated. What can I look forward to making? Well, they go to auto repair and they see this all mixed up, and they don't know it's all mixed up. And that number is quite a bit lower than these other skilled trades. They're going to the other skilled trades. And it makes sense. The problem is we have this homogenized number that doesn't reflect what truly good technicians, or mechanical specialists, technical specialists make. And that's the numbers that need to kind of get out there for people to say, oh, this can be a real good career. And along with our other skilled trades, one of the attraction points is we're going to be fairly isolated and protected from, I think, automation and artificial intelligence for a while compared to many other professions. But yeah, I think the mistake here is they're using the word mechanic interchangeably with the shop and the individual mechanic, and it's misleading.
Before I started working on my cars, and I thought I had goated mechanics that were the best in the world. They were like, oh, we specialize on imports. And I took my Stereo, I got ripped off so bad.
Oh my God.
So bad. Bad, where I got my car back with no engine, none of the turbos. So he didn't give me, I got no piping back, no nothing. So some mechanics do lie. They just want to sauce it up too much just to get that money out. Just tell the customer the truth. Be like, hey, you know what? It's going to cost you this much to do this. That's what it is. If you need to sauce up too much, probably that customer is not for you. You don't have to finesse them too much.
Sorry, guys. I hate that answer. I'm sorry. Name me a profession where everybody's honest across the board. Please. One. There isn't any. There's no blanket statement that all mechanics lie. That's ridiculous. It's an unsustainable business model. Nobody does it. Are there some people that are dishonest? Yes. Are they doing it because they trying to get a money grab? Maybe. Are they doing it to try to cover their reputation? Probably. No, it's not even close. Most shops, most mechanics don't lie. It's a horrible business model, horrible long-term business model. It's not done. It's just not. And the frequency of lying probably isn't any higher. In fact, because of our reputation, it's probably lower than so many other industries. I'm a little disappointed in that answer. Sorry.
Why do mechanics wear jumpsuits?
Keep us clean.
Because we look cool sometimes.
Actually, cool. Yes, that is true.
You feel really cool.
We look cool.
It's
it keeps us clean.
Right? Why do cops wear the uniforms? Why do firefighters wear all that gear? Because they look good. Say you said the Snap-on truck shows up, right?
Love Snap-on.
He shows up with a jacket. It makes no sense. It's just a regular jacket that says Snap-on. It's like $800. And you're like, oh, I look cool in this jacket.
I didn't pay $800 for it. I bought a certain tool and I got it for free.
Why do mechanics get ripped off by Snap-on? That's a big question, right?
Listen, they're good tools.
Why do mechanics hate German cars? I do not hate German cars.
Yeah, me neither.
Just to make sure that, they're the best cars ever made. Do you have anything to say negative about that, man?
I worked on German cars. I love them. I think they're great.
Why they hate them? I don't know.
They kind of are pains. Why do mechanics charge so much for parts?
So they can make ends meet.
Yeah.
If you want a wholesale price, go open up your wholesale account. Straight up.
That's so true. Why do mechanics take advantage?
He's sort of right. I don't know what opening your own wholesale account would do if you're taking it to a repair shop, because the reality is the repair shop probably is not going to install your provided parts because of the liability. It's a real thing. If you source the part because they install it. Now they are responsible for it. And they don't have the resources you would have for the warranty. And your resources for the warranty probably is not the same as what the shop would have if they purchased the part, because they just buy so many of them. It's not reasonable for a shop to install customer supplied parts, because even if they think it's the right part and they put it in, now it is the right part, and the customer no longer has much responsibility for it. It falls on the shop, and they lost that profit. It's not a reasonable thing to have happen. It's not something you see. A common comparison is you don't walk into the restaurant with your own ingredients and ask them to cook it up. Parts are a source of income for the shop. It also pays for the warranty that they're going to have to help provide with that repair if something goes wrong. And you might think, oh, okay, this part failed. The part company or the part manufacturer will reimburse the shop. They will probably reimburse them the part or provide a new part, replacement part, maybe a portion of the labor. So it's not a good deal. The shop needs that profit from the part. And let's face it, a profitable shop can afford to do the right thing and take care of you. The shop that's not profitable because maybe they, part of the reason is they install customer supplied parts, lose out on that profit. When things go wrong, they can't afford to do the right thing. And now you get into why do the mechanics lie? I'm not saying it's right. We can hold two thoughts at once. We can explain something without actually excusing it.
Not all mechanics do this. Okay. Not all do. But there are still a certain set of mechanics that maybe have an older mindset or whatever that believe that women don't know shit about cars, when that may not be the case. Just like some women don't know about cars, some men don't either. So
charge them right and they'll come back, right?
Yeah.
If you overdo it, they won't come back. They'll probably do the job once. And then guess what? That girl has boyfriends, friends, uncles, dads. They're going to be like, hey, bro, like they did you nasty. You could have gone to this other spot and they would have charged you a little bit less, faster or whatever, and then
just don't rip people off, especially not women, just because you think they look like they don't know what they're doing.
I agree with some of what she's saying and some of what he's saying, and then I don't know, it kind of gets weird. Women typically make the vast majority of repair decisions. Therefore, again, it's a really, really poor business model to take advantage of women. The opposite is true. Most of us go out of our way to treat them right, to keep building that trust and demonstrating, with evidence-based recommendations, to keep building that trust for them to feel safe. And I totally agree with her on this. Most men don't really understand vehicles, and I don't think testosterone is really directly linked to just mechanical aptitude. Talking about if they have husbands, boyfriends, male neighbors, that's kind of back to all men know about cars. Whether they know about cars or not, you show them an invoice and go, hey, did this shop take care of me? And everybody looks at the bottom line and goes, oh man, I think you got taken. You might have got the best service you've ever gotten in your life by a shop that is going to have your back. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure I'm fully on board with that answer.
Next charge for diagnostic, because we have a select set of skills that we spent time learning.
It's like if you go anywhere, any place, you're getting paid for that. Like you're getting paid for your service. Why can't we charge for our services? It's like you're not doing it for free where you're working at. Why are we going to do it for free? AutoZone does it for free, or O'Reilly's or Pep Boys or whatever.
No, they don't. They connect the
yeah, they connect that, but that doesn't mean that that's the problem. They have to figure out what the problem. That's just giving you
general idea.
Yeah, general idea. So yeah, we have to charge.
They're actually pretty good at answering this. I like it. The issue is paying for a diagnostic. That's in a way poor terminology. You're paying for an analysis. They're working through some sort of a process to drill down to what is the root cause. And this costs money with labor time to pay the person doing it. And then the equipment, the service information resources needed to go through and do these tests. And the more, I don't know about more equipment, but in many cases, shops that are well equipped for diagnostics have more resources for getting to that cause either more quickly or more accurately. And that's what you're paying for. And like they said, what other profession does not charge for any service, right? It's really rare. Auto repair is kind of the one that sticks out where, if you do the repair, we'll roll the diagnostics into that. That can't happen anymore. The cost to have the person to do it, not just their compensation, but also you got to pay for their training and access to the information. And then of course the tooling, it doesn't make it reasonable anymore. Shops have to charge for diagnostics, and it's just like any other service business. Or if you really want to compare us to something, in this case, the medical system is kind of a pretty good comparison.
What do mechanics do?
Nothing. We sit on top of the car. We look at it. Once in a while, we test drive it. We waste your gas. We have fun with your car.
And we do actually work on them sometimes. What do mechanics wear? Shop shirts. I'm not on the job. If I were to be, I'd wear work pants.
Some of us wear
shirt.
shorts. Some of us wear that jumpsuit. Some tight one piece, like body. I'm not playing. We don't wear that.
What you wear under your uniform is your business. What do mechanics use? Tools. What do mechanics make?
Make money? Or what do they make? If you guys let us build some crazy, we'll make your Tahoe look like a clown car.
What do mechanics make? They make it happen.
Ah, there you go.
See?
Do on a day. What do mechanics do on a daily basis?
What did you say?
I was gonna read this off because I was like, we do this. Like just talking, kicking it with a homie.
Some techs do be f***ing dilly-dallying with the other fools.
On the phone.
On the daily.
Sending DMs.
Talking to their baby moms.
Yeah.
I promise I'm at work.
Yeah. I'm right here. I'm working on this car. You're outside doing shit. That's about it. Or you're working on the car.
What do mechanics work on?
It could be a car, plane, boat, trains, anything he wants. Electrical, whatever. Hey, electricians, mechanics.
To me, a mechanic works on cars. And maybe you're right there. There could be boat mechanics, and maybe there are like aero mechanics, right? Electrician?
Well, mechanics that work on electrical. Not house electricians, like car electricians.
That's just a mechanic that specializes in electrical. You call that one
yeah,
electrician?
I do. I'm ghetto. Maybe that's the wrong term. What do you want?
No mechanic.
She's mad right now. Answer that
Who
one.
the calls a damn mechanic that's good at electrical and electrician? Who
What
does
is she
that?
gonna say there? What's she gonna say there? What do we do there?
What do mechanics fix? Cars, dummy. Sorry. You want me to say cars, boats, planes,
Lay down.
tanks? Oh, there
Tanks.
are. Yeah.
Tanks. Motorcycles.
Motorcycles, correct.
So, you can't touch the electrical guys, okay?
I just think it's crazy that you'd call that person an electrician.
What do we charge per hour right here? It depends on what it is.
Yeah.
Really depends on what it is.
If you're going to like a tech in a dealership, they have a standard rate.
It could be anywhere from like
$215.
yeah, it could be anywhere from $130 to like 200 and something bucks. It really depends what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's kind of rough to actually talk numbers because it's so driven by what region you're in, what area, cost of living type of stuff. But I think what they're alluding to, though, is many shops have a kind of a tiered labor where they maybe have a base door rate, and that's for certain repairs. And then they might have another tier that's higher for maybe certain specialty vehicles. And then they may have yet another tier for, I don't know, maybe big trucks, anything over 1 ton. And then they may have the highest tier. Maybe they have another tier, and that's the diagnostic rate. And the reason they do that is when you're doing a diagnostic analysis, you're not replacing a part, you're not getting the profit from the part. So to make that up, so that doing some of the, we'll just say, I hate to say lower level, but the more mechanical type of work where parts are being replaced, so that's not so much more profitable than diagnostics. They're going to charge a higher rate on the diagnostics. And I mean, that's only logic. So I think that's what they're alluding to with it depends. There's often a tiered rate.
How do mechanics get paid?
Checks, direct deposit, Zelle, whatever you guys
Yeah.
You want to barter at one point, bring me your cows, your sheep, whatever.
Trade
services, whatever.
Pizza is usually the best. Donuts aren't shied on too much anymore. I think they missed the point of the question. I might have missed the point of the question. But I think what they're talking about is somebody probably heard that technicians get paid flat rate. And so essentially what that means is there are labor guides out there that, for instance, we'll just say for a brake relining that involves replacing the brake rotors, front brakes, pads, rotors, should take 1 hour. The shop will issue a estimate to the customer for 1 hour of labor and then whatever the parts are. The technician who is paid flat rate, when they get that ticket, that's their job. Once they grab the ticket and the keys, they are going to get paid 1 hour. It doesn't matter if it takes them 45 minutes to do the job or 3 hours. They are getting paid 1 hour. Think of that as whatever you like. I think it's one of those situations where this could be a whole different video about the ethics of that. In some states, it's illegal. The other thing, of course, is you can be paid hourly, just straight hourly, or a salary, or a modification of some sort where you get a base salary, a base hourly income with some sort of a, commission or profit sharing to boost those numbers up and reward for production and quality and all that. I think that's the nature of this question.
Liens work. So let's just say a customer shows a lien, like if you do a lien on a car that nobody paid for repairs.
Oh.
You got it?
Oh, yes.
She just woke up.
I didn't know.
For the past 30 minutes, he's been asleep.
Oh, just answer the question.
So say Steph shows up to the shop and she says, hey, work on my engine, do this and this and this, right? She leaves a deposit of $200 and the ticket is $5,000, right? You call her and be like, hey, your car's ready. Can you come and pick it up? And she says, yeah, I'll be there. Boom. 1 month passes, 2, 3, 4. And you're being as lenient as you can because this happened to me. I told the customer, do me a favor, at least come and leave some money so you could take your truck and then we could settle on payments. If they don't want to do that, at that point it's like, I think this will be a short lien because it depends on the price. It could be a long lien, which would be, let's just say, anywhere from $10,000 and up. But if it's a small lien, it's like $5,000 and down. If they don't pick up the car or they don't try to address it and say a short lien would be like 30 days to like 2 months. And if it's a long lien, it could be like anywhere from like 4 months to 6. If they don't pick it up, you own that car. That's it. They lost that vehicle. And you do that because people don't pay sometimes. And it sucks, but it happens. That's Cali. I'm right here in Cali. So I don't know how it works somewhere else. Maybe they pull out a shotgun and be like, if you don't pay, that's mine. And sign the paperwork and that's it.
How do mechanics use math?
1 + 1. You deduct $5
That's crazy.
out of $10. What is that?
He's not wrong, but
You bust out the
the
calculator.
mechanic will use math the most. I feel like if you're doing engine work, engine rebuilding, if you do warranty work on brakes for whatever reason, and you gotta like give them how much of warpage you saw on the rotor compared to what it's supposed to be. How do mechanics charge for labor?
I think we covered it in the other one, right? I'm just saying, how do we diagnose a car? Like, it's either a scanner or experience. It depends on the symptoms of the vehicle. You come in and you tell me my car's doing this, then it's either a test drive, it's either we put the scanner on it, it's either we put the EVAP machine on it, it's either we balance out the wheels, we do an alignment. It depends.
I like that he went outside of just diagnostics for drivability or engine performance. That honestly, how do we diagnose? It's a process that you develop either following a manufacturer's procedure where they will have kind of what we would refer to as a trouble tree. Step 1, check this. What is the result? Go to step 4, go to step 7. A lot of times, if you understand how something is supposed to work, you can come up with your own diagnostic process. And the tools involved, like he said, it depends on the system and what we're going after, but it gets excessive. Some of the stuff gets really, really complex. So that's a pretty darn good answer.
How do mechanics use science? Cars in themselves is a science.
Like I could wear a white
you gotta
suit.
use physics and for like the rotation of the crankshaft and all that to determine what the proper rotation
Do I look like a
It's
scientist?
you,
I mean,
science
that's just
isn't the
me.
whole damn thing.
Yeah. Call me Sandro the scientist.
The
Scientist guy.
scientist?
Yeah, the scientist guy.
Should mechanics wear gloves? Yeah, they should wear gloves if they want to prevent their hands looking all janky. Should mechanics charge for diagnosis?
Yes.
Absolutely. It's their job.
Oh my God.
Should mechanics be paid more? I think a lot of mechanics would like that.
But
some of them are overpaid for what they do.
some of them, no, I don't think so. Oh, well, it depends. It really depends. Only you know, because,
You gotta work with those kind of people.
yeah, I don't know. Hey, everybody.
Our car mechanics, are we what?
Are we fat, bad, glad, sad, mad?
Well, you're
Dad.
rhyming over there or what?
You know it. I'm gonna give you a free beat. You do a freestyle.
No, you do it. You
Nah,
do
you
it.
do it.
You do it.
Nah.
No, because my freestyles are always explicit.
Okay, then forget you.
Our car mechanics
stopped them so far.
engineers.
No, not all of them.
No,
Not all of them.
there are
I don't know what that question means. Are there individuals who have an engineering background in this profession? Absolutely. Absolutely. I guess it depends on how we're going to define engineers, right? Typically, the engineers are more on the design end of things, typically. In some cases, maybe in more of a fabrication type shop, I suppose you could stretch it to say they're engineers or do engineering type of services. But to say like a blanket statement, are we all engineers? No.
mechanical engineers.
Yeah, there's some.
But I think they're two different things.
Yeah, I'm definitely not a mother engineer.
Neither
that's for
am
sure.
I.
So, nah.
Are car mechanics honest? I like to think the good ones are.
Some of them are honest, some of them are not. Some of them probably had a bad week, and you came in, and they're looking at you like a fat ass check. So sometimes they're gonna be like not honest at all. So not all of them.
This might be a reference to flat rate, meaning if you're being only paid for what you can bill out and the shop is slow, or you've gotten beat up on a couple of repairs and you've got bills to pay, right? The mortgage is coming, the rent's coming, the car payment, child support, child care, whatever. Your bills are coming due and you're looking at your hours going, dude, I can't make my payments. There's potential motivation for some dishonesty. I think that's what Sandro's kind of referring to there. And like I said, we can explain something without excusing it. You'd like that not to happen. I think more and more shops that pay kind of a flat rate system offer guarantees, and that greatly reduces that motivation.
Car mechanics open on Sunday.
Some of them are.
Some.
She's probably not because you worked at a dealer.
Yeah.
Right? Most mom and pop shops are open 7
Really?
days a week.
I thought Sunday's the Lord's Day.
No, we work almost every day.
Oh man, that's funny. Are car mechanics blue collar? I think we sure as hell f***ing are.
Yeah. Stop it. We are.
Are car mechanics paid well? Go look up what our wages are.
Yeah, just how much does a basic mechanic start getting paid? Right?
Yeah.
At a lube spot. I'll tell you that.
Again, what does that mean? Paid well, back to that kind of homogenized number. So when she's saying go look it up, that number doesn't really reflect what you could make. And then starting wages, there's a lot of things when you're starting out, green without a lot of experience that you don't start out high. But hopefully there's light at the end of the tunnel as you gain skills, gain competency, that those numbers go up drastically as you produce more, offer more value to the shop and hence the client. You're going to get paid more and more. Again, it kind of that we don't really differentiate between skill levels. And I think that kind of hurts us when trying to sell or market to people to, join auto repair, join our ranks. So the good technicians, they make really good livings. And if they don't, they can go find a shop that will pay them.
Are car mechanics in a high demand? Hell yeah.
Yes,
Hell yeah.
absolutely.
Good car mechanics. You see, there's different car mechanics. If you're going in there just to make money, I'm sorry, it's not gonna work for you. It's not gonna work for you. You have to love what you're doing.
Yeah.
You have to love the car. Like when a car shows up, the customer wants to know that you like cars. Why? Because you're gonna take care of his car. So if you love cars, he's gonna be like, you know what, this fool is gonna definitely take care of my. That's what they wanna see. A guy that goes in there, yeah, you know what, I could do that just for a little extra money. And they want to see that enthusiasm. And what if a customer comes in and tells you, hey, what rims would look good on the car? But if you're not a car guy and you're there just to make money, you're not going to give them no style, no flavor. He's just going to be like, this was just trying to sell me something in the catalog. No, you got to be like, you know what, this color looks good on this. I think this size rim will look good on this. If you drop the car, they admire that. Customers love that because you're doing your job and you're doing it with love, you know?
That's an interesting response to that. I'm thinking on more the purely repair side of things for a client to come in and determine that you love cars. Selling rims aside, and that's not a dig, it's just a regular repair type of situation. How does somebody decide you're passionate about what you do? And is it really your exuberance? Or I might argue, and I will argue, maybe look on the wall in the waiting room. Do you see ASE certifications? Do you see ASE credentials? ASE stands for Automotive Service Excellence, and they provide a voluntary exam to technicians to take to prove a minimum level of competency, and then they earn that credential. The key word is voluntary. So if they have them, they chose to do that. To me, that's really powerful. Nothing is forcing them to take that and get that credential. They decided they wanted to earn that. They wanted to test themselves. That demonstrates passion. That demonstrates enthusiasm. That demonstrates love. The other thing is maybe there on display are training certificates. Or you could ask, do your technicians regularly attend training? Again, if you love what you do, you're going to go learn more and more about it. Really invest that time, invest that money. That's another way to demonstrate that you love what you do is continued education. Some shops display the training certificates on the wall. Some of them don't. It's worthwhile asking or checking out their website or Facebook pages to see any kind of posts where people are attending training. It's a real good barometer rather than they seem like they love what they're doing. I don't know if that works.
Are car mechanics open on Labor Day? Maybe?
In some places they are.
There you go. There's
That's what's called Labor Day.
What should I do if my car
explodes?
What should I do if my car starts to skid?
Hold on and enjoy the ride. You just did a video of you drifting on mud. What do you do?
Once you get like the skid that you want, let off the brake, gas it, and then just kind of like hold it where you want.
Enjoy the ride.
Yeah, enjoy the ride.
Okay.
This is very either racing or, of course, drifting. This isn't real world, like out driving normally. If your car starts to skid, and we kind of get into the situation of what kind of car, what's the car equipped with, right? Most modern vehicles have anti-lock brake systems. And usually the best thing to do is get both feet on that brake pedal and push as hard as you can and let the system work. Preventive actions for such things would be make sure you have really good tires that are suited for whatever you're going to be doing. So, in a climate more in the north with snow and ice, snow tires, all weather tires. Other areas, something suitable for wet conditions, for rain. But usually the best thing to do is let the car do its thing. Let the ABS system do its magic. It's not like the old days where you would start pumping the brakes. That's what ABS is mimicking at just a much higher frequency. If you do have a car without ABS, then yeah, oftentimes pumping the brakes. The idea is don't let them lock up. If you do, that's when you start losing control. So pump the brakes, maybe pop the transmission into neutral so that you take away any kind of driving of the wheels. I would say that's more real world than enjoy the ride. I get what they're saying. They're talking about something very specific. And I guess so am I. I feel like mine's more relevant to most of us day to day.
Dude, my car has a recall. Take it to the dealership. Let them fix your recall.
You could always look up just the way you're doing this. You could type in your year, make, and model and say if there's any recalls. And then they'll give you the steps like, hey, call the dealer.
Set up an appointment.
Call whoever the you want. Call Batman. Who cares?
Most car manufacturers' websites have a means for you to punch your VIN in and find recalls. You can also just call the dealership, a dealership for your car line, give them the VIN number. They will tell you if there's any open recalls.
What should I do if my car is stolen?
Step 1.
Call the cops. Step 2, go on a hunt.
Step 3.
You find the fools, but there's a lot more of them than there are of you. So book it.
Step 1 is you call the cops. Step 2, you call your insurance. Step 3, you post it up on your social media. If you don't have a big social media, it sucks for you. But if you do, tag everybody so they can spread it out. And you might get lucky nowadays. You know, they do find cars. So it's like you can do it on social media and just be like, hey, you know what? They stole my project car. They stole this and that. Drive around your area, see you get lucky and you find it. If you do find it, you made the claim, call the cops. Because if you just take the car like that and you're driving the car,
they will pull your ass
they'll
over.
get you, and then you'll be arrested trying to figure it out. It's just a big ass problem.
Oh, the ground!
Yeah. Just like that with that deep ass voice.
That's your cowboy.
That's my cowboy.
Yeah.
What should I do if my carbon monoxide alarm goes off? That confused the out of me right now. I was like,
Me too.
what?
I was like, your siren's gonna go off, and I'm like, wait, you're not in your path. But I mean, if you have a siren in your car, it's gonna go off.
What should I do if my car is totaled?
Evidently, they have a carbon monoxide detector in their garage, or I guess worse, if it's in the house. Was the car running in the garage with the doors shut or not, but you're still getting carbon monoxide in the house? I'm not sure where that question's going. A byproduct of really incomplete combustion is carbon monoxide. It's really not a thing. Carbon dioxide, which is a byproduct of combustion, ends up being probably more dangerous in an enclosed space than carbon monoxide. We do a pretty good job of cleaning that up on most modern vehicles with just the fuel injection system, the fuel delivery systems, and then, of course, the catalytic converters. If your carbon monoxide detector is going off, I guess determine if it's related to the vehicle. I'm not saying you have to diagnose the vehicle, but if it pertains to when the car is running, get the vehicle looked at, but also get the house looked at. Again, assuming this carbon monoxide alarm is in the house, because there is some sort of a breach allowing air from the garage into the house.
What should I do if my car was hit while parked? That's not a bad.
Hit up your insurance?
No, gotta call the cops.
Oh, call the cops. And then hit up your insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And then ask for the security footage.
And you're going to hunt again.
And then go on a hunt.
Most insurance companies and or their apps tell you kind of what to do in these situations. So, reference them.
You did the same shit I told you when your car got stolen.
I just can't just accept that. I gotta go find who the hit my car.
Call the cops. Call the cops. Make an insurance claim. If the car that hit you is still there, take pictures of that car immediately.
All right. So I got a kick out of that. That was pretty interesting. Some of their answers are really, really good and they're spot on. And then some of them, maybe I was a little nitpicky on, but by and large, pretty good. There's kind of the one that's really disappointing, but all in all, entertaining. Caught myself smiling and laughing a few times. Hopefully this expounds on some things, clears up misunderstandings. Yeah, I got a kick out of that. So, if there's more stuff you'd like to see me react to, please let me know in the comments or shoot me an email at mattfanslowpodcast@gmail.com. And while I'm here, I'd like to thank Napa Autotech Training for sponsoring, and also the Aftermarket Radio Network for, giving me this space to do this. So until next time, take care.